calling all Kingdom women entrepreneurs, the vision builders, the boundary breakers, and the passion igniters who know they're called and anointed to impact positive change for the kingdom through your business.
A business that honors and serves God. Welcome to Kingdom Women Entrepreneurs Podcast.
This is your host, Fideliz, Cruz.
And I'm Anne-Marie Cross. Now, onto the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of KWE Podcast. So excited to be here with you, Anne-Marie.
Oh, so excited, especially this topic, another great topic we can dive into.
Yeah, so today we're going to share 3 strategies that have worked well in our business. So we're going to take turns and share some of the strategies that have really helped us grow our business as well. So should I start with mine, Anne-Marie?
Yes. What's one of yours?
So the first one is actually the niche strategy. So this one I really love because when I first launched my business, I was a business, it wasn't even a business coach, it was like life coach. I just firstly started as a life coach. But then as I grew and learned more about business and also realized that, hey, I want to make sure that I'm infusing my faith into my coaching, I've decided to niche down to serving Christian women in business. And so by doing that, actually, when I started doing that, I found that more people came to want to work with me rather than just a life coach. It was very broad. And I feel like when you have a strategy to kind of niche down and make sure that you're serving in a very specific area or a specific type of target audience, then it's a lot easier to reach them as well. So what works with that is marketing is so much easier.
I'd love to ask you, what was it that prompted you to really spend time in prayer and for direction about really niching and helping and incorporating faith into your business? Why I ask that is so many Christian business owners, they do struggle with that. Should I put that in my marketing message? Will it turn people off? So what did you have to go through and how did you come to the decision? No, this is going to be my niche.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's different, right? So, but for me, it was every time I was serving someone and as a client, there would be moments when I want to pray for them and we're setting goals together and we're making business plans together. I always want to say, could we pray first? I always want to say, oh, good things would happen. I'm like, yes, amen, praise God. And that was very natural for me to do. I could not get rid of that. That's just me being authentically me. And so I just realized, hey, this is going to work easier. If I'm working with a Christian client, then I don't have to try to be someone else. I don't have to change the way that I interact with them because they're just going to love it. And so this means it was so much easier for me to, interact with my clients. It builds connection. But God has really put that in my heart, from the very get-go anyway. I always love the scripture in Matthew 5:16 where it talks about shining for God. And when we're Christians, we don't hide it. And I'll never want to hide it in any aspect of my life, whether it means that I'm going to get more clients. If I make it general, that's not the point. It's more like, Lord, I just want to serve in this area where you've put me in. And that's the Christian business coaching. So
I love that. Something that as you're sharing that, I had to smile and I wanted to share this. We have spoken before on the episodes and shared that, brand archetypes. You are romantic. That is your leading archetype, isn't it? That's the first one, the connection and romantic. And what you've just really shared, that connection. But something that you did, I remember you popped into my messages and you just said, hey, sis, I'm just here. I just felt led to pray for you. When I got that, I actually have never, I thanked you for that, of course, but I really had tears in my eyes. And I thought that is just such a thing that the romantic archetype would do, the connector would do, is really, that's just such a beautiful touch. And that coming through when you mentioned about that was so authentic for you. That is an action that is so authentic.
And good
whatever.
on, I mean, for women out there, for other business owners out there that are Christians, and maybe they don't really say that as part of their business. Look, everyone is different, and that is fine if that's where God has put you. But I guess for me, it makes my life so much easier and my business so much easier, because I don't have to worry if someone was maybe offended, or maybe someone was
You can
like,
bring your whole
you know,
self to the
just
relationship.
be there. And yeah. So yeah. What about you, sis? What's your first one?
Well, mine probably sounds a little bit strange, but it really is trusting that how God created me to be is how I show up best in my business. Let me give you an example. I just shared that your leading archetype was romantic. Mine is explorer, and explorers, we love new things. We love bright, shiny objects. Podcasting at one stage many years ago was a bright, shiny object back then, because not many people knew what it was. Just learning new things and taking action. And so a lot of that was what other people and other business coaches told us not to do, but it was just who the Lord made me. And then full circle
Mm,
now, all of the things that I have learned and put together are now front and center. The podcasting, it's been the one consistent thing that I've done
yeah.
for nearly 15 years. And the Lord knew, back then that where it would go and what it has become. And so if I had tried to box myself into
Mm,
being someone else that I was not, and didn't feel like
yeah.
you were saying I had to be that because it was authentic to me, how often do we try and be something else because someone's told
Yeah.
us this is how we need to be or show up in the world to be successful? The Lord knows how he's created us. Trust, in that. Ask him, get feedback from people who are aware of that, who other brothers and sisters who know
Mm,
that we are created beings, made
yeah.
the Lord's image, and he knows exactly how he's created us to be. And if something feels a little bit off, it may be very much because you're trying to work in a way in which the Lord is not created. So for me, that has been huge. It's permission to be and who I am and how he created me. I
Yes.
often laugh because I've got a saying. It's like, if I had had this years ago and given it to my younger me, self, I probably would be many more steps ahead. And then I end by saying, who am I kidding? I would have gone my own path anyway, because that's just what the explorer does. We like to find
Yes.
our own way and
And you're a
pioneer.
rebel.
So,
You like to do your own thing. That is so good. And look, so many people are blessed now by you doing that, and just being in your at what we call is like the genius zone, where God has really like
yeah,
placed you.
and
That's where we shine.
we all have
Yeah.
that, don't we? And
Yes.
if you're not sure what your genius zone is, ask him or work with.
Yeah.
Well, I know Fideliz, you help people to identify what that is as well. So,
Yeah.
what's the second thing? Was it a strategy, or what's worked really well for you?
Yeah. So this one is both a strategy as well as a kingdom principle, and this one is about being a servant leader. And that is, for me, I know with Kingdom Woman Entrepreneurs, of course, we've got a community, but got backtracked to being a Christian woman minister for 4 years. Back many years ago, I was a Christian woman minister, and I was helping, women within the church. And that's where I've learned all about servant leadership, where, when we lead people, we lead by example. And I feel like, even so, we can put that into business as well, that so much easier to share and encourage people to do something when you are also doing it, right? Because there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot of other businesses out there, or maybe coaches, or maybe, I don't know, leaders as well, that might be sharing a few things. But the question is, are you really doing that also? And I feel like that's what makes the distinction for us as Christian business owners, is that we've got to walk the walk and not just talk, if that makes sense. Yeah. So as a leader, we I think that's a really big responsibility. God has given us a gift of leadership. God has given us the people to lead and the community to lead, and we've got to steward it well. How do we steward it well? By being a good servant leader, and that means putting others first, and being aware of before we preach, before we talk, before we share anything of, guys, let's do this, we've got to pave the way as well. We've got to be doing it already so that there's conviction when we speak. That is I think the biggest difference, because you'll just know it. You guys will know it, right? Everyone will just know, oh, she's saying that, but does she really do it? I don't know. And then that just means that for me, I know I don't know if it's very harsh to say, but that's where we fail as leaders. If we are telling others how this or that could be done better, but yet we don't do it for ourselves, we're doing that a disservice. We're not really giving it 100%. Firstly, we're fooling ourselves. Like, no one's winning. You're not winning. The person's not winning. It's not happening. So servant leadership is a kingdom principle. And yes, guess what happens when you serve? God is going to put you first. Servants are always at the back. We're always doing things in the back end. But most of the time, God will elevate you when you start serving people, when you put people first, and when you really just lift them up and encourage them. And it's, you know what, someone said to me before many years ago, that the best leaders are the ones that multiply themselves. So it's not me being afraid that you're going to take my role. It's not me being afraid that maybe you're going to do better, that I'm going to lose this position. I'm going to lift you up. I want you to be better than me, because what does that mean? It means that I was a good leader because I helped you get there. So your win is my win. And I feel like, wow, what a great kingdom principle that is, because it's never about competition. It's more like, let's do this together. And it's like, it's sort of like helping each other out. So I love that.
And it's so true. The leader who says one thing but does another often will find that their influence they're not influential, whether that be in the workplace, your own business, or even in a community. If you go forward with that real core value of servant leadership, people will notice and they'll feel inspired to come around the vision and support you.
That's right.
So I love that one, sis.
So good. And what about you, sis? So your second one would be?
Yeah, well, the second one follows on from the first one about really being who God called you to be and being authentic. Because what I have found then is being able to then trust the journey and take the golden nuggets from the learnings. And if I look back to all of the things that I teach now in my clients, such as, helping them in their personal brand with their distinction blueprint, or building business foundations, the core business foundations, or the podcasting with purpose. If I look at all of the things that I've taught in there and that I teach in there, the steps, it comes on the back of all of the mistakes that I have made and things that I've learned from. And then, I call them markers and milestones, all of those challenges that through the learnings and insights have become milestones and successes, the happy accidents, the things that occurred and you're not expecting it to be a success. And every one of us has that. And I think that is when we're able to identify. And it's almost like a diamond in the rough, if you will. We all have these diamonds in the rough, but we just need to know where to look and how to take shape that story and journey and message. We will be unique and uncopyable, just like the Lord has made us all different with, different fingerprints. Our stories and our journeys and the lessons that we can impart in the way in which we can impart them is unique and uncopyable by no one else. And we can gather that from, the journey and the learnings and the mistakes that we made along the way.
So good. No one can question your story.
No.
It's like, it's your testimony. And
it is.
It's so beautiful.
And even
that
today,
is like your power.
It is. And even today we hear, this was not in a Christian, kingdom environment, but other coaches and mentors saying to people, if you think your story is boring, make one up. Well, we don't need to make anything up because the Lord has all made us unique. Go ask the Lord and work with someone who's able.
That will take too much effort just to make one up.
I know. Just make up a story. Just make it sound good. But, I don't know about, in my book, that's called a lie. So I don't want to start off a relationship.
And that's why, Oh, and it's so funny because what we were just discussing earlier was, the experiences that we've gone through. And sometimes you're like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to be here. But actually, it's part of the story that you're going to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's so
So that
good.
would be number second. Trust the journey and the learnings and use those as part of what you now teach other people.
Yeah. So good. Cool. Okay, my last one. My last one is marketplace ministry. So this is a strategy. Well, I don't know if it's even a strategy, but it's maybe a mindset that when we're serving, it's a ministry because, and this is a personal thing for me, perhaps how God has revealed this to me, because I always thought when I was young that all I could do was serve within the church to be able to minister. Minister is basically serving someone, and to be able to help them in any way is you're ministering to them. So you're actually not bound by the church walls and to just serve in that area. So when now as a business owner, I found that, this is a lifestyle. Serving is a lifestyle. It's like worship is a lifestyle. So when I look at my business, it's not just a business, it's actually a ministry. It's my ministry in the marketplace. I'm able to shine a light in the industry where I'm at, but also when I treat my clients with, with compassion, with love, like really godly love. Like there's some people out there that it's like it's a bit hard to love, but God's like, love them. It's a ministry, and so we just love on our clients, and we just build real genuine connections with them, because that's how we minister and serve them. So that's I guess a mindset for me.
And
So
it's a
customer
great reminder
focus.
for everybody who's even listening to this podcast, because you hear often people, I really want to be involved in ministry. And we often then think of the church. But, wherever you're at in your business, whether you are openly talking about the Lord, such as you are, of course, Viz, with working with Kingdom entrepreneurs, they may not openly speak about them, but you can, through your marketplace ministry, really speak volumes in the way in which you approach business and the way that you react and respond to things quite differently than someone else who doesn't know the Lord and may fly off the handle, or even delivering and doing a great job. I mean, I've had clients that have said, thank you so much. And it's like, don't need to thank me. That's what we're working to. Yes, but you don't know how many people that they've hired over the years from different industries who've promised them things but haven't delivered. And that means that if we, as Kingdom women entrepreneurs, deliver and do what we say, we're already well ahead of everybody else. So,
It's
amazing.
like being a representative of the kingdom. We're
Yeah.
representing Christ. It feels like, oh, that feels a bit heavy, God, because I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, but I feel like it's the heart behind it.
Yeah.
So long as you have that heart to minister to others, it doesn't have to be perfect, because God fills the gap. He will
Yeah.
fill that gap for you. But it's just, Lord, I surrender this business to you, and just do what you need to do. So love this one. Number 3. What about you, sis?
But for me, well, because that I love to do lots of different things
Yeah.
and have done lots of different things, and even in our business, there's different marketing and all of those things. One of the things that I struggled with for a long time was thinking, well, how do I put this together in a really solid strategy that will really enable me to be able to, run my business with not feeling like I've got so many, plates spinning and then all of a sudden everything drops all around me. And so I really learned how to put everything together, how it all fit together, from my programs to funnels and all of that. And it's taken years to do that. But the Lord showed me that even though things that I had been doing seemed separate, they did all fit together, because I love personal branding. I did that from a career industry, helped as a career coach, help job seekers build their personal brand, which is their resumes, interview coaching, and now, of course, with coaches and so forth. And so the personal brand is really the who and the why. Who are you? Who did the Lord create you to be? And why? What's your personal vision, your mission, your values, all of those things. Then from there, in the area of kind of thought leadership, not that you're better than everyone else, but better placed to support your ideal clients through the journey and the skills and the experience that you have, you're able to then, through your unique and uncopyable journey and insights, help people. That's the what. So you have the who, the why, and the what. And then the podcasting is the marketing platform. The how am I going to get my message there? And it was like the Lord had been taking me through a journey through the personal branding and then helping people, find their unique, because I was doing it for myself, and then asking, Lord, how do I put it together? Then that, the what, and then that it all fit together. And so once he showed me that, then it's like, oh, okay, it's not all disjointed. One really leads to the other, because there's no point starting a podcast if your message isn't working, because it's only going to amplify a message that's not working to more people. So you have to, get that message and your brand and so forth really solidified first. And so now that those things are clear to me in my own mind, I was able to put a strategy in place in the back end to really build upon that. And I find that many other coaches and consultants struggle with that too. How do I put everything together in a consistent marketing strategy that works for me and that can really nurture and build relationships, rather than having misjointed, if that's the right word, a lot of stuff, but not working together in a cohesive, consistent way.
Yes. And you do this so well, Anne-Marie. Like, you do it so well. I see it.
I've learned a lot of lessons.
That's
it's taken many years. So that would be my third.
Love that. I love these strategies that we shared. So all in all, that was like 6 strategies, right?
It was.
That's amazing. A lot, guys.
And it's amazing that they were all different, yet can work beautifully together.
Yeah, and every business is different. So, you can pick out some different strategies for your business, see which one fits. And give them a try. I'm using all of those strategies. And it's just so good, seeing your business grow. And it's important that you pick at least 1 or 2 strategies and just at least see how your business grows. Like, you need to see how it's growing from the get-go when you start that strategy, and then see how you can review it and see if it's working. And then that's what I do. I do a strategy, I review it, see if it works. And if it's not working, I'll just try something else as well. So give it a try. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that I also do is exactly what you do. I work on 90-day plans and go all in for 90 days. You may tweak along the way because you might see something that's not quite working as best as you want in the first 30 days. Well, what can I do? What changes can I make? Implement the changes for the next 60 days. I was doing that with sharing different pieces of content. And it was interesting to see that on other platforms that I didn't even think would make an impact has actually started going gangbusters. Now, I would not have done that were not for sharing something over that long period of time. And I think something that we both haven't mentioned today, but so important and has come through everything I think that we've shared today is the consistency. You've got to continue. You don't just do something for 1 week, or maybe not even for a couple of weeks, but stick with it so that you can really look at all of the evidence and the data to make the best decision moving forward, whether you need to tweak it, whether you need to start from scratch, and how best that it works for you next time you implement.
I really second that, consistency, because I have a lot of people sometimes say, Fids, I want to give up. I'm like, how long have you been doing it? A couple of days.
How long did this take? I've been doing it for 5 days.
I've only been doing it for 2 weeks. And well, you've just got to stick to it. You'll never know, and you'll never know until you try. Sometimes it's trial and error as well. So guys, tell us out of the 6, which one, I guess, you would like to give a go. And if there are other strategies as well that you know of that you'd like to share with our community, I guess you can put it into the review, or you can go into our KWE Facebook group and you can share there as well. Yeah, anything else, Anne-Marie?
I think that's it. We can't wait to hear the feedback and some of the other strategies that people have implemented, because this could be some great ideas being shared within the community.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope you've been encouraged by today's message. If you'd like to find out more about how you can work with a Christian business coach and to grow your business and be part of our free KWE community, go to kingdomwomanentrepreneurs.com.
And if you'd like to learn more about how to start a Kingdom Focused podcast so you can build your visibility and impact in a much bigger way, go to podcastingwithpurpose.com/Kingdom Podcast. And we would love you to leave some feedback over on our Apple Podcast channel. We'd really appreciate it.